What's up, guys? Today I want to share my experience with renting cars on Turo app, and this is for my first 60 days on Turo. It's been exactly 60 days since I rented my first vehicle on Turo. I bought a 17 Jeep Wrangler and a 21 Chrysler Pacifica. I actually went ahead and signed up and got a rental car license, and I also have rental car insurance. This is not a necessary step to rent your car on Turo, but if you're interested, cost me about $500 to set up the rental car license, and then it cost me $116 a month for rental car insurance. And this allows me to rent to anybody on the Turo platform or off the Turo platform. And actually, in the last 60 days, I have had some rentals that are off the Turo platform. So the Jeep, actually, I've been very fortunate. It rented the first day. That customer just turned it back in 6 days ago, and then they actually re-rented it off the Turo app. And the Chrysler, I haven't had as much luck with the Pacifica. It hasn't been on a total of 60 days yet. It's been on about 45 days. I've had a total of 4 rentals. Mostly they've been, 2 of them were a week long, one was 3 days, and one's been out about 12 days that's not on the Turo app. And that one is $40 a day, so that's about $480. On the Turo app for the last 2 months, I've received $3,564. That's my share of the revenue. On top of that, I had the Pacifica that rented for $480, and the Jeep is renting for $50 a day, and it's been 6 days. That's another $300. So it's about $4,300 in the first 2 months. Now, some expenses that I have had are the purchase of the vehicle, and I spent about $60,000 on that. But if you already have a vehicle, you won't have that expense. And I paid cash for it, but I decided to pay myself back at a 9% interest rate over 5 years, and that payment is like $1,500 and some change per month. Then I have 2 car wash passes that are unlimited car wash passes. They are $20 a month each. Every time the car comes in, I have to vacuum it, clean it, and wipe it down. What I've done is basically just drive it to the car wash, and then it has free vacs. I wipe everything down there, and then I take it for a little test drive just to make sure that everything's good on it. Check the fluids, check the tires for any damage, just look around the vehicle for any damage, make sure there's no weird noises, make sure all the lights are working, make sure everything is working properly on the vehicle. I will, as soon as the Jeep comes back in and also the minivan, have to regular oil changes every 3,000 to 5,000 miles. And I'm going to allocate about $100 a month for routine maintenance. It may not be that much, but I want to make sure that I understand what the expenses involved are going to be. And then let's say $10 or so in cleaning supplies. It's not a lot, but I use disinfectant to wipe down the car after each rent. So is it worth it? There's a number of things that I've learned since I've started doing Turo. I tend to jump in. The first time I rented it, I actually just hid the key under it, showed the guest or the renter where the key was hidden. Since then, I've bought some lock boxes called Igloo Home, and they're great. They are larger, so they accommodate any kind of key. You can buy a window attachment that attaches it to the windows so it's secure, and then there's also an RFID blocker pouch that you can put the key in and then put it in the lockbox, and that way on these newer cars you can't just push the button and it'll unlock because of the proximity of the key. So that's been really helpful, and I have the ability to put the code in for a specific guest and have it turn on and off only during the time that the rental is scheduled. And then I have a backup code just in case they extend or anything. So some of the issues that I've come up with on the Jeep, when she was supposed to bring the car back, she didn't. It was the next day before I could even communicate with her. She ended up extending multiple times. She's extended probably 10 times. And this particular customer has a vehicle in the shop, and it keeps getting postponed because of part shortages. They're not able to get the parts in time, and so that's extending my rental, which I'm happy with. But that's kind of been a pain. At first, I'm like, oh God, what if she wrecked the vehicle? What if she's stolen it? You know, what's going to happen? So I did a little more research. Turo was very good at communicating with the guest and reassured me that if the car is wrecked and totaled, that their insurance covers it. And then my insurance would be secondary to that. Those are really the big issues. And then on the longer term rental, I'm worried about, does the vehicle need the oil changed or any maintenance done? I haven't had any issues, knock on wood, but the Jeep is supposed to come back today, exactly 60 days later, and I'm gonna change the oil, and then she is gonna sign a new contract for another 30 days. The van had a fog light bulb go out, but other than that, knock on wood, so far I haven't had any issues. Now, the vehicles that I bought were in very good condition. They had basically new tires, new oil change, and they're newer vehicles, so there were no issues. Haven't had any issues. Oh, I did have one other time where the minivan, they left the light on and the battery died. They had to jump it, so I didn't have to worry about that. Since then, my rental car insurance comes with roadside assistance that helps with towing car, like if they run out of gas or changing a tire and that kind of thing. So if you don't have something like that on your insurance, you can buy these policies. Just Google roadside assistance and that kind of thing, and that will help you at least be able to predict an issue before it happens so you're not caught off guard. The other thing that I am considering doing, I haven't done yet, it was probably stupid of me not to, but I haven't put a GPS on the vehicles yet. I didn't think of it when I first put them on, and they rented so quickly I didn't get to it. I'm gonna put a GPS on each vehicle. I found them for $89 a year for the unit and a 3-year subscription. And then I'm also gonna buy an Apple AirTag, and I'm gonna hide that in the vehicle as well, just for added protection. If you have somebody that's gonna be a renter and they have bad intentions from the beginning, they're gonna be looking for GPS and they're gonna yank it out. That way, duplication of services always helps. The other things you gotta make sure that you have is have 2 keys for each vehicle. The last thing you want is a customer to either lose the key and then you have a big issue, or if they're dishonest and they steal it, at least you can give the key to a wrecker service and they can go repossess the vehicle if that to happen. Multiple locations where you can get these keys. You can go to like a Lowe's or Home Depot. You can go to a Battery Plus. You can go to AutoZone, any of those automobile parts stores, and a lot of those places will be able to make you duplicate keys. And there's also some remote services that'll come to you and make the key. Typically they need to program them. It's not cheap. For the Jeep it cost me about $225, and for the Chrysler it was about $320. So make sure that you're trying to think ahead. So would I do this again? Is it worth it? So far, I feel that I've been very fortunate. I think that it may slow down. When I first got on Turo, before I bought the vehicles, I looked around. There were only 3 cars on Turo. And so I was a little worried. I'm in a small town. We tend to be behind the times. And I wasn't sure if Turo was even going to work here. A lot of people I talk to, they say, what's Turo? I've been pleasantly surprised with that. There's also other sites like HireCar and some others, Share It, I think, or something like that. But if you Google vehicle sharing platforms, you can come and see platforms in your area that work. Some of them I've noticed aren't in my area yet. But those are added ways to rent the vehicle full time if you have more than 1 car. If you only have 1, it's a great substitute. So I definitely believe it's going to be worth it. Remember, even after I pay the vehicles off, I still have the asset that I can sell. And I assume that I'm going to lose 50% of the value of the vehicles in that first 5 years. I bought vehicles that typically hold their value pretty well, even with triple or quadruple the miles. So that's something, that's just my gut. I don't know if that'll happen. Whatever the case is, there is some value in a vehicle, even if it has 100, 150, 200,000 miles on it. And that's subject to change with the economy. But right now, if things stay the same, I still have a lot of value in the vehicles. I'm covering all of my expenses every month in rentals and getting some additional profit on top of that. So about $300 or $400 that covers everything, and I can put that in a reserve or pay the vehicles down. So I would definitely look into this if it's something that you think you can handle. The lockbox definitely makes a difference on not having to meet the customer and show show them or hand them the keys and show them anything about the vehicle. Everything is no touch, contactless, and they just drop the vehicle off. There are also multiple other things that you can do to add profit to your vehicles, like renting out car seats, renting out a cooler, offering unlimited mileage for an additional fee per day. I've capped mine at $200 a day. My first van rental actually went over the mileage and they paid me an additional almost $200. You can also add additional things like the unlimited car wash that I talked about before. So guys, if you like this information and you'd like to know more about how to make money on the side with either vehicles, rentals on Airbnb, flipping cars, or Turo, then please subscribe to my channel. I'm all about side hustles and life hacks and living the lifestyle that I want with having someone else pay for it. So I hope this helps you, and I'm going to link some other videos in the description and in the comments that can help you find out more about Turo and Airbnb.